In this video, I'm going to give you 3 key tips to make the most out of your learning during lockdown. Let's go. Hi, it's Tansel here. I'm a 4-time Australian memory champion, helping people learn faster and better. Please make sure to subscribe and like the video if you think it's helpful. Being in lockdown has given most of us some valuable time. While it's great to have all this time for ourselves, learning can still feel like a challenge despite having more capacity to do so. It's extremely easy to eat more, watch TV, procrastinate, play games, because our brain has a natural tendency to go towards those activities as there's less effort involved in mental encoding to achieve those tasks. And the rush of endorphins from binge watching your favorite Netflix shows and learning can seem like a very distant chore, but it doesn't have to be that way. Here are 3 key tips to help you make the most out of your learning during lockdown. Tip number 1, break down what you're learning into smaller tasks. The brain gets overwhelmed if it perceives a task to be too large. For example, if you say to yourself you want to learn another language, the brain ultimately sees the end goal of being able to speak and communicate in that language. This image created in your brain in this scenario can create a mammoth task for you to accomplish. Hence the overwhelm leading to not only taking action, right, but not doing anything at all. So to climb a mountain, you do it step by step. I suggest focusing on a very small part of whatever you're learning and taking action on that, whether it is a language, gardening, computer programming, cooking, or even learning how to play guitar. No matter how small the task may be, the action in itself will in turn create momentum to keep you going. The question now is, how do you determine what a small part of a task is? One way is to reduce the time you spend on the learning. If you previously budgeted 1 hour, maybe do the task for 10 minutes. You're probably thinking, well, that's 50 minutes less than what I would normally do. I wouldn't get much done. Now remember, if you're the type of person that procrastinates and withholds that 1 hour of task, then the 10 minutes of learning is still better than 0 minutes of learning. Even if you didn't procrastinate, a 10-minute task of learning in the mind is much more achievable than a 1 hour one. So there's greater chance you will do it almost every time. Tip number 2, use the 1-minute rule. The 1-minute rule is simply doing the task for 1 minute. Now the aim, however, is to not do the task for 1 minute, but to get to the task in the first place. Think about it. The issue people often have is not that they can't do the task, it's because they don't even get to it in the first instance. Getting to the task every time can help you with consistency, which in turn makes learning a lot more helpful as the brain is engaging with what is to be learned on a regular basis. So how can you use the 1-minute rule? Now, a lot of people I work with often come to me because they want to improve their reading and comprehension. The problem they have is getting to reading in the first instance. There is no consistency because the brain is overwhelmed of reading a whole book. Like I mentioned earlier, the brain sees reading of the book as this huge mountain to be climbed, which is where the overwhelm can kick in. When it does, people can shy away and find it exhausting, even thinking of picking up a book and start reading. Think of a loop. The brain loves to close off loops. Now, with most things, we do have set times like meetings, study periods, exercise, and so on. When the time we set for those periods reaches a point where we are satisfied, that is what I call closing a loop. Now, most meetings generally go for about an hour, maybe 2 hours. Movies have set lengths, as well as TV shows and even YouTube clips. Once things have reached the end, the loop is closed. Now, check this out. What happens when a loop is not closed? What happens if it's broken? Imagine watching a favorite TV show and you stop watching halfway through. What do you think happens next? Well, I can almost guarantee that you will go back at some stage to finish up what you've been watching. Now, in other words, you will do anything to close off that loop. TV shows have been doing these psych hacks for years, right, to get viewers to keep watching. What do you think binge watching is? The loop is never closed at the end of a show, and because we want to watch what happens next, we jump straight onto the next episode and try and close off that loop. But what happens? The loop doesn't close, so we keep going to the next episode. The brain just wants to close that loop. If you're struggling to get onto a learning task, go and do it for 1 minute. Your brain will have just gotten started and will be so much easier to go on for longer. Now remember, your goal isn't to do the learning task for 1 minute. It's to get to the task in the first instance. That 1 minute task could then easily go on for as long as you want. That's the power of the 1 minute rule. And finally, tip number 3, don't rush anything. Slow down and enjoy the process. Learning should be a fun thing. It shouldn't feel like a chore every time. And if it does, then you may need to reevaluate if you really need to do it, or find a way to make it more enjoyable, like gamify it or provide some sort of personal challenge. Think about what made you want to learn that in the first place. Get deep into the desire of what you've achieved, whatever learning goal is that you've set out for yourself, and make it come alive in your mind. Now, visualization is one of the most powerful things we can do as humans. Use it to your advantage to help you enjoy the learning. Also, slowing down difficult tasks, broken down, can make things much more manageable. Slowing down also allows the brain to take note, have more time to encode, and process information thoroughly. Introducing mindfulness to your learning can also help reduce stress and anxiety from any bit of learning and put your brain into a relaxed state for taking action. And that's important. There are many benefits slowing down. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more videos of learning and mindfulness. So in summary, those 3 key lockdown learning tips. Number 1, break down what you're learning into smaller tasks. 2, use the 1 minute rule. And 3, don't rush. Slow down and enjoy the process. That's it for this video. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.